Hey, what's up everyone? SKULM here, and in today's video we're going to talk about the Golem Summon Necromancer Hit Tier 100 build guide. Now in this video we're going to start off by saying that this build is capable of achieving high levels of the pit, but the build goes the extra mile, unfortunately due to a bug. So I'm going to be extremely honest and I'm going to cover this very fast. So if you are going to use Elixir of Holy Bolts, you're gonna do billions of damage because it makes Minion Necromancer hit extremely hard. Now, this item is very easily obtainable. You can farm this on Hell Tides, Nightmare Dungeons, or if you have any spare obols, you can go to an Alchemist, and once you're in the Alchemist, you can press Craft Elixir, Seasonal Elixir, and then you can craft Elixir of Holy Bolts with your Murmuring obols. But I want to talk about the build very fast, so we're going to go to the training dummy and we're going to actually show some stuff. Then I'm going to talk about the elixir again, and I am going to cover an ethical aspect of this type of playstyle, but I'm also going to play the devil's advocate in this video. Anyway, I do not have any skeletons active. Normally, if I have shadow mages active, I would deal 3x multiplicative increased damage for each active shadow mage. Also, I do not have reapers active, which would proc my gravekeeper because I would have a lot of corpses. Anyway, I don't want to go into technical detail. I am going to select boss training dummy and I'm just going to use the golem basic attacks. So I just curse the target, okay? I just want you to look at the numbers. This is the golem. This is my golem's auto attacks, okay? 7 million, 4 million, 3 million, 5 million. Basically doing insane amount of damage, okay? Now remember, on my gear, I have Unyielding Commander's Band, which means when Army of the Dead is active, my minions gain even more damage. Also, this attack speed, Frenzied Death aspect helps with the cult leader, but I don't want to overcomplicate things, okay? So this is the golem. This is how hard he hits. And when I'm using his active ability, look at the damage. That's a 41 million right there, okay? Remember, I did not proc Flesh Eater, okay? If I proc Flesh Eater, that's another 40%. Now, Corpse Tendrils, Golem, 38 million. Then he's pumping big damage, okay? This is the Golem damage. Now, we're gonna go into detail about the build. If I pop army, all of my skeletons, actually that was 100 million right there. Flesh Eater is active and we just pump damage, okay? I'm gonna talk about the rotation now because a lot of you have been asking about this. The rotation is very simple. Your Reapers are going to generate the corpses. You are gonna maintain Flesh Eater by consuming corpses, Tendril, Curse, and then Golem active. And the Golem will hit for millions and millions and millions of damage. Okay, if Army is up, you use it in combination with the Army and you're gonna deal even more damage like this. We're using Abhorrent Decrepify to reduce our cooldowns, and Reapers keep producing corpses. Now, I have changed my setup a little bit. You have seen my tier 79 clear, and after that I pushed a lot. And what I noticed is around tier 100, I'm currently around tier 107. I'm at tier 107. The damage is brutal from the monsters. Anything can one-shot you. Now, of course, I am using Temerity. Maybe I could use Shielding Storm and other aspects to increase my DR. I will test those. But right now, this is what's working for me. I actually have Blood Mist in this build, which is actually great for hardcore players as well. But I do not recommend hardcore players to try super high levels of the pit, by the way, just so you know. So yeah, your damage rotation is pretty simple. First of all, first things first, you always have to curse the target because your minions will attack the cursed target. They will somehow prioritize that. And the minion AI is pretty bad. We know this. So we want to curse the target. Not only it helps minions target the enemy, it also helps for damage reduction and defensive purposes, because when you apply Decrepify to a target, they deal less damage and they're slowed and whatnot. And any type of lucky hit effect helps reduce your cooldowns. So curse first, okay? When you're cursing, if you see corpses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, army, and then the grasping veins, golem active. That's it. That's all you need to do. So in the gameplay, you're gonna see me run the dungeons. When I'm running the dungeons, I'm doing something, a little bit of min-maxing. What I'm doing is, let's assume there's an enemy here, okay? If there's an enemy here, I'm corpsing, I put corpse tendrils here, I send the golem right away. Because the golem usually hangs out around the area, so you basically can send the golem. So army up, tendril, before tendril pops, send the golem. He will hit in the enemy's location. Okay, when you watch, for example, if there's a corpse here, I will cast tendrils here and send the golem. Look, by that time, everything is pulled, golem does the damage, you get the cooldown as well. All right, now, let's talk about my gear. This is not perfect gear, okay? First of all, it's not perfect. I will include a build planner link and everything will be covered there as well. So, intelligence, max life, armor, cold dress, corpse tendril size, nothing super fancy. I want to cover my resistances because resistances are extremely important. I said about this in my tier list video and I was right. Kit is brutal. The monsters can easily one-shot you, okay? This is no joke. You need a lot of defensive, a lot of damage reduction, and you need barrier to survive. So that's the helm. Ideally, in the helm slots, you could play around with, for example, if you have super high armor, you can let go of the armor roll and you can put skeletal warrior mastery here. On the chest, I was lucky to get a greater FX on golem mastery. And if you masterwork this item up to 7 levels, it doesn't have to proc on the golem mastery. If you masterwork it to 7 levels, you will get +4 to golem mastery if it's greater FX. And if it's then in the 8th or in the 4th, 8th or 12th masterworking, if it crits on the golem mastery, that's going to go up to 5. Okay, pretty important. We use occult dominion here for the extra skeletal mages, because having 2 extra skeletal mage will grant us another 6% multiplicative damage increase. On gloves, you definitely want attack speed. Definitely. If you're playing a minion necromancer, you're going to play cult leader, paragon board. We're going to talk about that. You definitely want attack speed, okay? This is non-negotiable. Now, on the leg item, I am using temerity because I need barrier. I need barrier like crazy. So what I'm doing to survive is, if I'm full HP, on my boots, I have the blood getter aspect. So my skeletal priest also heals me, yeah? When I'm raising corpses, the skeletal priest goes, the healing from the skeletal priest goes to me, and it gives me barrier. So I have to raise corpses anyway because I need to proc flesh eater. So skeletal priest is healing me, generating barrier, which helps me stay alive, but at the same time, I'm preparing the damage. So it's basically 2 birds with 1 stone, but I don't think this is the best item, to be fair with you. I don't think temerity is the best item, but right now it gets the job done for me. Ideally, I want to test Tyrael's Might on chest, maybe let go of the golem mastery to survive, but then I'm not so sure about the damage, okay? On the boots, we have movement speed, poison res, and intelligence. Again, I need resistances because on my paragon board, I go heavily into damage. So I cover the resistances usually here so that I can put extra damage and affix nodes in the paragon board. For the weapon, there is a discussion, and I've mentioned this: two-handed sword versus two-handed scythe. Scythe is slower, but has higher damage hit cap, okay? Sword is faster, but it has lower damage hit cap compared to a scythe. Now, if you want your golem hit its absolute maximum damage, you want to use a two-handed scythe. However, the sword animation is faster. So I am not sure if this translates into the minions. I have to research this. But right now, this is the item I got. It's like the 2nd or 3rd day of the season. It's a good roll, great graphics intelligence, damage, and then crit damage because we cannot roll attack speed on the weapons. Thank you, Blizzard. So, you want to temper this with minion attack speed and golem damage for the Cult Leader Paragon board. We will come to that. I have socketed vulnerable damage into here because usually vulnerable damage caps at 50% bucket. In Season 2, they have made damage bucket change. Vulnerable goes multiplicative until 50%. After 50%, it stops being multiplicative damage. It starts being additive damage. Same goes for the critical strike damage as well. On my amulet, I'm using Metamorphosis. This is extremely unconventional. I know. It's super unconventional, but it really helps me for the unstoppable and getting away from the mechanics. I am, I don't know, a flashy player. I move a lot. I don't want to stand still. Alternatively, you can put maybe another damage affix here, but if you put a damage affix here, sometimes, for example, in the echo bosses on highest pit levels that I played, Lilith appears and she chases you. And maybe your blood mist is not ready, it's on cooldown. What are you going to do? Having a metamorphosis literally saves you, gives you unstoppable, and you can actually don't die. You can actually survive by using this. This is not everyone's cup of tea. I'm pretty sure you don't like to move around a lot, but this is how I play right now. Maybe in the future the build will change and I'm looking forward to update it. So, damage, attack speed, total armor. You can let go of the total armor and get Hellbent Commander here. Since we're playing Blood Mist, I'm gonna release a full tier 100 clear. I have also cleared again 106 and I'm at 107, tier 107, so if you want, I'm gonna also show those videos. But what I'm trying to say is, when you have Hellbent Commander is another multiplicative damage increase, okay, for your minions, but you have to stand close to them. So what happens is, usually when the boss in the pit gets staggered, you can run in to grant your minions Hellbent Commander. And if you look at the hand of your minions, they have this blue glove around it. When it's glowing blue like this, it means Hellbent Commander is active. If I run away just a little bit, let's see, from some of them. For example, the warriors do not have the blue glow on their hands right now. You see that? If I get close to the warriors, look at their hands now. You see, they have the Hellbent Commander active. Let's walk over here. They don't. Now walk. So you see, they have Hellbent Commander active. So the range of the Hellbent Commander is very tricky to pull off. But Blood Mist solves this problem. Because when I need to, for example, activate Golem, let's say I pop Army, Corpse Tendrils, Curse, everything, I can pop Blood Mist, run here, Hellbent Commander is active, the damage is done, and then I can get out. Okay? That's what you can do. We're of course letting go 20% from the Blight, but we're gonna talk about that later. Anyway, on the ring, you want intelligence, damage, attack speed, then ultimate cooldown reduction to reduce Army of the Dead. Usually you want Golem CDR and Golem damage. This ring is better in terms of tempering rolls, because Golem active cooldown reduction is massive and then Golem damage is massive, obviously. So, the aspects on the ring, I am using Unyielding Commander and Frenzied Death. Now, let me show you my Golem damage, okay? Damage with Golem, 3407.3%, okay? That's why my Golem is hitting extremely hard, because my damage with Golem is super high, right? It comes from the Golem mastery, it comes from Golem damage, summon damage, Golem damage, summon damage, everything applies, and then the Golem becomes brrrr, basically. But Book of the Dead, Reapers producing corpses is massive. I know some of you want to play Reapers reduce cooldowns, but trust me, if you're playing high level of pit, you want to use Corpse Tendrils right away to stun the enemies, pull them together, activate the Golem, hit them as hard as you can, and repeat this as much as you can. Okay? Also, when Reapers create corpses, I get benefit from my Gravekeeper. That's up to 12x multiplicative damage increase, alright? I'm sorry if this is too complicated because there is a lot of things to talk about. I'm really trying to cover everything in the shortest time possible. So excuse me if I'm jumping back and forth between things. Shadow Mage, 3x multiplicative damage increase for each active mage. Golem, the second ability, Golem has 25% damage reduction and 50x increased damage. Okay. So, skill tree. Let's quickly go over that. Anything 2 points, doesn't matter. We're not going to put it on the bar. I put 1 point into unliving energy because I have essence problems. 3 essence is nothing, I know, but I need to put a point here to access this second row. So, Hued Flesh max because we want corpses. We want corpses. Blood Mist creates corpses. Again, this is good for corpse tendrils, guys. Very important. Spiked Armor maxed. Skeletal Warrior Mastery maxed. Grim Harvest, Fueled by that maxed. These are maxed. Of course, Amplify damage is maxed. Decrepify is abhorrent to reduce cooldowns. Skeletal Mage Mastery maxed. Tendrils for vulnerable. 2 points into Necrotic Carapace because when we spawn corpses, we get Fortify. Fortify provides 15% damage reduction now. Reaper's Pursuit for extra movement speed. Crippling Darkness to stagger bosses. Gloom for some extra Shadow Mage damage, I guess. I have 7 ranks into Golem Mastery. If this procs on Masterworking, it's going to be 200x. So that's another 25x multiplicative damage on the Golem. Army of the Dead, obviously. And then we have Inspiring Leader, Hellbent Commander, and Kalan's Edict. Now, you're going to say, hey, SKULM, why are you not running Shadow Blight? In your guide video, you have said that you need to use Blighted aspect here, play Shadow Blight, so your Golem hits harder. Well, guess what? Blizzard decided that they are going to remove the attack speed from the weapons. So we cannot roll attack speed on weapons. And why is attack speed so important? Because of this, okay? Your minions deal 30x increased damage for each 20% of attack speed bonus they have, up to a maximum of 100% attack speed bonus. Now, here's a secret. It's not 100%. In the PTR, I have released my Summon Necro video, and I said in the PTR, everyone, I am running more than 100% attack speed because I think Cult Leader's cap is actually above 100% attack speed. Now, I am not super certain about this, but I think Cult Leader takes your attack speed cap, which is 100%, and separately it also takes minion attack speed cap, which is up to 100%. It goes secretly up to 200%. So your attack speed versus minion attack speed, both of them come together and then you get this multiplicative damage increase. Since we cannot roll attack speed on the weapon, we need attack speed somewhere. What can we do to get that attack speed? Kalan's Edict, because your minions gain 3% attack speed for each active minion. And how many minions do we have? 11 with Golem, that's 12. Yeah? So basically, you are getting 36% attack speed just by Kalan's Edict. Okay? And then of course I should have attack speed on the ring. I don't. In this one I have. On the amulet, it's a greater affix roll. And on the gloves, I have it. Okay? This is very important, guys. Because attack speed bonus actually helps Cult Leader. You see this? Minion attack speed is 40.4. My attack speed is 33.5. Now, if this was another, instead of 33.5, if this was like, let's say 40, or what was it? I'm gonna have to check. Let's check. Yeah, if it was 40, that would be another 30x increased damage. Okay? So, very important thing to consider. Now, we talked about the rotation, how to deal damage. Again, you curse something, pop army, get your Flesh Eater, Tendril, Golem. Okay? That's all you do. If you play Blight in the lower pit, you can actually do it. In the highest pits, it's brutal. It's super brutal. I'm telling you, it's brutal. You can drop Blood Mist, play Blight into Supernatural Blight for another 20% X multiplicative damage increase. Now, let's talk about Elixir of Holy Bolts. I'm gonna play some clips in the background while talking about this. And this Elixir of Holy Bolt usually works okay for other classes and other Necromancer specs. Okay? Yeah, it does decent damage. It's good for clearing stuff and whatnot. However, if a Summon Necromancer uses this Elixir of Holy Bolt, something about the minions affects the behavior of the artillery shrine that procs from the Holy Bolt's corpse, the enemy's corpse. When the Holy Bolt procs from it, it does massive damage. And it really helps you push into the deepest level of the pits. I have cleared a tier 100 pit with Elixir of Holy Bolt. But I'm telling you, well, I have some good news and bad news, okay? I start with the bad news first. The build can go deep into the pit because of a bug. That's a bad news. And it relies on a consumable item. It might be fixed. These are the bad news. Good news are, it is still not fixed. You can easily play it, and you can push deep into the pit now. As of recording this video, it is still not fixed. I'm not sure if they hotfix it, so, you know, hurry up. Get some pit levels done. Get your title. When you clear tier 100, you get Echoed Despoiler. Despoiler, yes, Echoed Despoiler. That's the title you get. And this is the achievement you get. The final precipice for completing a tier 100. Okay? So, Holy Bolts. I'm going to talk about the ethical aspects of using this item. And I'm gonna start with a little bit of a history. At the very start of Season 0, barbarians with Bleed Rend could literally 0.1 second kill Uber Lilith. It was so broken, it was disgusting. Blizzard nerfed the barbarian into hell, and the barbarians suffered from it for the entirety of pre-season, or Season 0. Then, of course, we witnessed the rise of the barbarian. But what Blizzard said at Season 2, because then people have identified Hota Barbs and Ball Lightning Sorks. They were benefiting from a bug. And they said, if an overpowered broken build does not break the server, does not cause any lag or any issues that breaks the entire game, we will let them have fun. Then we will bring it down. I think it was the developer interview at Season 3, before the start of Season 3. Then they changed their tone and then they said, hey, we're going to have mid-season balance changes and fixes, so we might change the class balance a little bit. So now, at Season 4, Summon Necromancer is busted because of a consumable item. Yeah, I mean, come on. Yes, you still need to be able to kill, and the Golem Necromancer does that. You can kill... Listen, even without the Holy Bolt, you can clear tier 90 plus. Depends on your player skill, depends on your items, but with this build, you can get tier 90 plus. Definitely, you can achieve it. Okay, so rest assured, the build is broken, and it's beyond broken because of a consumable item and the build's interaction with it. But survivability is always a problem for the Necromancer. And in the deepest level of the pit, you start to witness this. It's actually incredible. Any type of lightning spire can kill you. Any type of invisible enemy charge can kill you. So you have to play on your toes. I am leaning into Blood Mist just because of this. Because right now, you need to stay alive. The damage is being done by your golem and this potion right there, right here, Elixir of Holy Bolt, okay? The golem hits for hundreds of millions. Sometimes I see more than 200 million, 300 million crits. In the video, I will show as well. The golem hits very hard, but normally for anything above tier 100, it's not enough. And the biggest problem is right now, Elixir of Holy Bolts is carrying this build. If they change that, if they actually fix Elixir of Holy Bolts, you won't be able to clear anything higher than tier 100 with this build. You cannot, okay? Now, at this point, a lot of people, a lot of classes are struggling to clear tier 95 plus. They're dying, they're not doing enough damage. Necromancer right now is using this item and doing well. And I'm sharing this with you. Now, from an ethical perspective, what do I think about it? I'm going to be super objective. I don't like this, obviously. But at the same time, too many broken stuff has happened to other classes and they have benefited from it. So, of course, when I play a Necromancer, and I'm playing a Necromancer, when I discover this, when I see this, of course I'm going to use it. This is not an exploit. This is not cheating. This is just a broken developer oversight that is benefiting a class, a mechanic, a spec, basically. And why wouldn't I use that? Did any barbarian stopped playing Hota because it was benefiting from bugs? Or any sorcerer stopped playing Ball Lightning because it was buggy? No. It became meta. But we are so bad, we can't even become meta without using a consumable item, okay? It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And let me tell you something else. Your skeletons, okay? Even if you have Death's Defense, they will die in the pit. They will die. So, and I need corpses. So I am thinking for the future, okay, I'm gonna say this here. I have played around with Skeletal Defenders and Razor Plate Torn Golem Necromancer, and it's doing actually good. But I'm saving it for the future. I'm waiting for them to change this or nerf this or don't touch this build. Right now I'm focusing on this build. This build is good. Again, high tier clears are playing in the background. So you have to do fishing to actually get a boss that spawns ads. Because if you're fighting the boss, in order for this potion to proc, you need to kill something. So basically what happens is you need to find a boss that spawns ads. You kill the ads, this Elixir of Holy Bolt procs, and the boss gets one shot. Like literally one shot, by the way, because it deals insane amount of damage. This will help you with your clear speed. So I shouldn't be saying this, but what you should do is use Elixir of Holy Bolt. It has 15-minute duration, okay? Enter the pit, clear the pit as fast as you can. When you see the boss, if it's the Sea Hag, Resurrected Mage, the Snake, or the Wolf, you're Gucci. You will clear the dungeon because they spawn ads. You kill the ad, the boss dies because of the Potion's Artillery Shrine, okay? If it is Outlaw Caster, the crossbow woman boss, that disappears. The big tree guy, or the Blood Bishop, unless you're doing tier 60 or 70-ish, it's okay. But if it's above 70, 80, leave the dungeon. I mean, you can play for 5 minutes and kill the boss. Yes, I did it because I wanted to prove that the build can do it, but it's not casual friendly, okay? You have to do a lot of dodge, a lot of mechanics, a lot of things. I'm getting whispers about the build guide. Right now I'm recording it. So my advice, and some of you will say, hey, you're just encouraging people to play a buggy build or this and that. Yes. Yes, yes, I am. And I'm telling you right now, if you're doing something, do it right. Fish for the dungeons. Go for it and basically try your best. Because that's how it is right now. The pit is brutal. The pit is disgusting. It is overtuned. I think it's aspirational content. I don't know what that serves. Like seeing something that you cannot get to. Okay, I guess. But enough rambling from me. I think Summon Necromancer needs a buff. I'm not joking. It actually needs a buff. It needs a buff in terms of survivability. A lot of classes have damage reduction glyphs on their paragons. We don't, except for Wither. Like, what the hell? Let's talk about the paragon really fast. Starter notes, I take Gravekeeper. Look, Gravekeeper grants me 250 armor, 25% damage, 25 intelligence, okay? I'm gonna take out Gravekeeper and put Amplify instead. Look. Yeah, I have to put, of course, intelligence. Amplify provides 15% damage. You see what happened there, right? So if I put Gravekeeper back, I get more damage because Gravekeeper buffs the rare nodes. Amplify buffs the magic nodes. So I get more damage because I'm using Gravekeeper and it buffs the rare nodes. Anyway, starter board is Gravekeeper. Then we go into Cult Leader. We take all the attack speed we can get. We use Dead Razor here. We want our summon damage. Minion damage reduction. I'm also thinking another 5% because the skeletons actually die. And I'm overcapped on resistances a bit. So maybe I drop Erudite. I will have a look later. You take, of course, Overlord, Custody, okay? Then you go into Hulking Monstrosity because it gives you multiplicative damage increase for the Golem. You enter the board from a Frenzied Golem. You put Amplify here because it buffs the Golem damage nodes because they are magical, okay? And Golem armor, but it doesn't do anything because minions inherit 100% of our stats. We just use this for intelligence, so we don't spend more points into intelligence. So mutation, miscreation, we take it. Instead of going down to this way, we have already came down from here. So this is actually shorter. Reach Frenzied Golem. So just come from here. You save up 1 or 2 points. Then go up. Take Borrowed Strength. Because that's actually plus damage increase while golems are active. It's additive, but it's still something. Okay? Then you take Hulking Monstrosity. The next board is going to be Flesh Eater. You take Stifle for the critical strike damage increase and damage to injured enemies. Then you go up. Also, you take Flesh Eater on the way. Then you go up. You take Targeted for extra damage to elites. These blue nodes are buffed by Corporeal. Okay? So they grant more damage to elites because of the Corporeal glyph. If you're lacking resistances, you can take Erudite here. Okay? And these two. Helps with resistances. Then you go up again. And you're going to play into Scent of Death. Okay? With at least 2 corpses nearby, you gain 15% damage reduction. With no corpses nearby, you deal 15x increased damage. You need the damage reduction. We have Reapers. They create a lot of corpses. Blood Mist also create corpses. So we have always nearly 2 corpses around us. That's 15% damage reduction. You come up from Ruin, and then you take Scent of Death. And then you go here. You put Golem because this is a really good willpower board. There is a lot of willpower nodes here, okay? You take all of these willpowers, so 54. It grants you 213.8% additive golem damage, but the glyph itself provides 25x increased damage to golems. You also take death marked for damage to injured and preservation if you need armor. Actually, I can drop this because I'm overcapped on armor, so I can use these points somewhere else. Then lastly, you go up into bloodbath boards, okay? You want this exploit glyph here. So you put exploit and you also take hardened because it grants you damage while fortified, and we're always fortified because reapers create corpses, blood mist create corpses, hued flesh creates corpses, and it actually applies now to necrotic carapace. Necrotic carapace grants us the fortification. Okay, that was the Paragon board gameplay. I want to close this video by saying I'm gonna play the devil's advocate. I did play the devil's advocate, but in reality, I respect all opinions as long as you're kind, polite, open-minded, and understanding. I understand if you do not like to play with Elixir of Holy Balls. The build is still good without the Elixir of Holy Balls. You can pull off tier 80, tier 85, tier 90, hell, even tier 95 if you have really good gear. But if you really want to easily clear tier 100 right now, get your title, get your achievement before they hotfix this or fix this or change this, do what I said. It's going to be day and night difference. It's going to be so easy for you, especially if you get the right boss. Remember, the potion kicks in when the boss spawns ads, kill the ads. You have seen it in the video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video and subscribe. Also, what do you think about this? Comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.